So I wasn't expecting to make this kind of video, but quite recently I discovered a piece of Classroom Elite content that I just simply had to talk about. When I saw this piece of content of Classroom Elite that I've never seen before, I was really shocked and surprised that I hadn't even discovered this until now. So to give a backstory, quite recently I was just simply searching random YouTube videos like I always do, because sometimes I just tend to just want to see what is on YouTube, and most of the time while I'm doing this I get recommended to the things I'm searching for. And in this case, I was searching to stuff related to Classroom Elite, and while I was searching, I noticed that a video was recommended to me, and this was a PV trailer. Now, I never seen this PV trailer, and so this was like the first time I saw it, and I was kind of confused as to what this was about. But then I noticed very quickly that this was actually the Volume 1 PV trailer. That's right, the first volume of Classroom Elite had a PV trailer. And very quickly I noticed that it had animation, and this was stuff that I've never seen before. And after watching it a bunch of times, I slowly realized that this maybe could have been the original concept of what the anime would have looked like had they gone this direction. Now, I know some people are gonna say, but this was a trailer for the light novels. And to that I say you are correct, but after doing a bit of research, I found out that this trailer actually came out in 2015, the same year the first light novel came out, because Classroom Elite Volume 1 came out on May 25th, 2015. And most likely they made this trailer in order to promote the first light novel. But not only that, but I feel, but this is just speculation, let me remind you, I feel like it was during this time where they probably were talking about making an anime adaptation of this series. Since if you have watched the anime, you would know that this series came out in 2017, 2 years after this PV trailer, which came out in 2015, so it's not that big of a gap. And most likely the reason why they waited 2 years in order to make this anime was because they wanted more source material to come out, because well, they need source material in order to make this anime happen. Not only that, but on average it takes pretty much a year for an anime to make episodes, so there's also that factor as well. So based on this, most likely they used that PV trailer to kind of get an idea as to what kind of anime they wanted to make for Classroom Elite and kind of the direction they wanted to go. Now of course, once again, this is all just speculation, I could be completely wrong, but it is something worth thinking about. Now the trailer is only 30 seconds long, so it's not a long trailer, but in those 30 seconds there was just a lot of information that makes it really interesting at what Classroom Elite could have been if they went in this direction with the anime. So let's just begin. Now the first thing I noticed very quickly was the art style of this PV trailer. It's most likely that this was probably the original art style they were going to go with the anime. Now of course, this art style is very similar to what we got, but there are a few differences. Like for example, I feel like this art style is a little bit more darker than what we got. Not to mention how this kind of art style, I don't know if it's just me, this kind of reminds me of animes that came out during the 2000s. There's just something about this art style that kind of reminds me of that, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's just me. Now apart from the art style, there's also very interesting things that they show in these scenes. Now of course, the one I need to obviously talk about is Ayano Koji wearing earbuds. Now I have read volume 1 of the light novel, and I don't remember ever seeing the light novel mention that Ayano Koji wore earbuds. Like this was never mentioned. I even checked like a summary of volume 1 to see if that's the case, and there's like no mention of Ayano Koji wearing earbuds. And the other interesting thing about these few seconds of just starting the trailer is the fact that Pseudo seems to be buddy-buddy with Ayano Koji. Now in the anime, this never really happened. There was no scene in which it showed that Ayano Koji and Pseudo were like buddy-buddy until later on in the series. My guess is that this scene was probably going to be a scene that was going to happen after the whole convenience store incident. Now, if you have watched the anime, you would know that there was a situation in which Pseudo was having a fight with these seniors outside of the convenience store, and of course Ayano Koji was there to witness all that happened. However, this whole scene was a little bit different in the light novels, where Pseudo was actually in the convenience store buying goods. However, because he forgot to get the thing that he needs in order to pay for these goods, Ayano Koji decided to help him out by buying it with his own money. And as they're eating their meals outside, that's where the whole confrontation with the seniors happened. So I feel like this scene would have probably been after this whole thing happened, in which I guess Pseudo and Ayano Koji will become friends. Now I feel like the reason why the anime removed this completely was most likely because this was probably not going to make sense on the narrative that they wanted to go in the anime, in which it was that Ayano Koji lacked social skills and didn't know how to talk to people, so as a result he didn't have many friends. So most likely that's the reason why this scene was removed. And then the next scene, it shows Ayano Koji looking at Horikita. Now of course, the one interesting detail is that Ayano Koji still has an earbud on his ear, so it's most likely that they were probably going to do this in the anime, where this is going to be one of Ayano Koji's traits, in which he has an earbud in one of his ears, I guess to keep himself entertain and not really listen to what the other students are talking about. But I feel like most likely the anime removed this was because, well, as you all know, Ayana Koji came from the White Room, and most likely this is something that Ayana Koji probably wouldn't even be doing in the White Room. He wouldn't be having earbuds in his ears, so this will probably removed in order to show us that Ayana Koji has no idea how the outside world functions and how the outside world works, because he's been isolated in the White Room this entire time. Then this next scene involves seeing Kushida in the original art style coming out of the pool, most likely in reference to something that happens in volume 1, in which Ayana Koji's class are doing swimming classes and they have a relay race in this swimming class. Now you most likely have seen this in the anime, however the way they place these events happens differently. In the light novel, this swimming class happens before it's revealed that Class D has no points whatsoever, whereas in the anime this event happened after Chabashi reveals that Class D has no points. Also, another thing worth mentioning is that in the anime they don't do the relay race, it's just simply free time for the class. And another small detail is the fact the colors of the swimsuits and shorts that the students are wearing are black, whereas in the anime the guys are wearing blue shorts and the girls are wearing blue and white swimsuits. Not a big deal, just a small detail that is very noticeable. Also, another interesting thing is that Ayana Koji actually waves to Kushida, which just goes to show us how different Ayana Koji was originally going to be. Originally he was probably going to be more expressive, but if you watch the anime you would know that he has no expression whatsoever. He always has the same expression. And speaking of Ayana Koji, something I forgot to mention is the fact that in this PV there's actually a different person voicing Ayana Koji. The original voice actor for Ayana Koji in this PV was named Natsuki Hanae. I believe that's how you say it. And originally Ayana Koji's voice sounded more expressive and it was very clear that it was a different person. Now obviously I think the reason why they changed the voice actor in the anime, who as you all know, the person who voiced Ayana Koji is Shoya Chiba, and most likely the reason why they did it was because they wanted to do the narrative of Ayana Koji having no expressions or having any human emotions whatsoever. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out because it's very interesting to find out that Ayana Koji had a different voice actor. So with that out of the way, let's just continue with the trailer as we get the next shot in which it's Tsuruo playing basketball. Now there's nothing really too interesting other than the fact that we still get the original art style and what would things look like if they went with this art style. But the next one is really interesting because it's a character that I've never really seen before. I have no idea who this character is. At first I thought it was Manabu, but then I looked closely and the hairstyle is different, not to mention that this person doesn't even have any glasses. So yeah, I really don't know who this character is. If I could make a prediction, my guess is this is going to be probably an original character. I don't know, I'm just speculating because I've never seen this character before, but based on what it shows, I'm guessing this was going to be a character that was good at sports and girls were crushing over him. That's just based on what I've seen because there's like a bunch of girls behind him, so it's very clear that he was a very popular person. And then the next shot is Ayana Koji sitting on the rooftop with the sun setting and someone throws him a drink, and this person is Horikita. Now I'm not really sure what this scene is supposed to reference. I have checked the novels once again, but there's not really an actual scene that just shows Ayana Koji and Horikita on the rooftop while the sun is setting. In this scene in the trailer they are saying something, but I don't speak Japanese and there's no subtitles, so I don't know what they're saying. So if anyone knows what this scene is supposed to be, please let me know. And after that there's not really anything else. They just show the volume 1 light novel and that's the end of the trailer. So yeah, what an interesting trailer. I'm pretty sure this was what the anime would have been. Now of course, like I said, it's all just speculation, but I am pretty confident in saying that this was probably what they were trying to go with the anime. This was the direction they were planning on doing, but of course they then changed a few things and then we got the anime that we got. So overall, based on what we've seen in this trailer, it most likely would have been a case of they were actually going to follow what the light novel was doing, but I'm guessing later on they decided to make a few changes. And if you have watched the anime, you will know that there's some changes that some Classroom the Elite fans are not happy. Even to this day, they're not really happy with how season 1 was. But overall, in my opinion, I think it was still a solid season. I think it was fine. Yes, I know some of the changes were unnecessary, but I think the overall anime was fine. So yeah, very interesting discovery that I made. Like I said, I had no idea this existed until it got recommended, but I'm glad that it was recommended because now I know how the anime would have looked like if this was the direction they were going with it. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire video. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you next time.